Welcome to Mortgages and More, your go-to podcast for the latest insights in the mortgage industry. Join us as we dive into expert advice, unveil actionable tips, and learn how to empower the next generation of homebuyers. Get ready to elevate your knowledge and make those property dreams a reality. Let's get started. What is up, everybody? Welcome back. It is January, and we're not waiting around for the second quarter of this thing to get going. We're ready now. And so hopefully you've been enjoying these little 8-minute nuggets from unbelievable experts from all across this industry. And Brian, do we have a phenomenal one today?
Oh my, do we ever. So I'm proud and happy to have my friend Sue Buswell join us, not only on today's episode, but as a contributing writer to the upcoming Rethink Everything You Know About Being a Loan Officer book. Sue and I met virtually. We still haven't met face to face. I think we're due for that, overdue. But we met virtually. Be a part of that when that absolutely. It's gonna happen. Sue is you can see on underneath her is the hashtag Sue knows the score. She is easily one of the most knowledgeable people on all things consumer credit. And so, Sue, thanks for joining us, and thanks for volunteering to contribute to our great book that we're putting together.
Yeah, so sorry, guys. I'm just like star-studded here, so a little bit tongue-tied, but thank you very much for including me, in the book. Very excited to have my chapter shared. I believe it'll be a bit of a continuation of Sue Knows the Score, but I did drop a little challenge in that, I think. So yeah, I'm happy to be here today and part of your 8-minute one a day in January. It's going to be fun.
30 and 30.
I know. I love it.
So Sue, tell us a little bit, without giving away the chapter, just give us a little taste of what the reader is going to learn as it relates to your story and credit to start off with.
So, I will say that I share just a little bit of my story, but I felt very lucky to be invited because, and we might talk about this a little bit later, but 2023 was a year of change for a lot of people, and especially for me. What I wanted to put into this chapter in the book was I wanted to challenge loan officers to become loan advisors. I think that, Brian, you've really been the face and the head of that charge with what you've been doing with FinLocker. There's just so much need for financial empowerment, for credit empowerment in our world. And the time is now. The mortgage industry is ready for change. And so that's what I've put into my chapter, is what I'm dropping is my challenge, along with tips for people to be able to achieve that challenge that I dropped.
Love it. I love it. So we only gave you, 1,000 words, whatever the limit was, although there's no limit. It's a soft limit. And I know, just based on your knowledge, that there was no way you were going to be able to fit all of what's in your brain into this chapter. What is one thing that you wish you would have had another chapter or another page or to go deeper on that you didn't get to put into the book?
Well, I think it really is what I alluded to earlier, is that 2023 was a year where I took Kyle's Rethinking Everything and really had to put it into action. So if you'll indulge me for a minute, I'll share a little bit of how I got to be Sue Knows the Score. And that started on November the 1st, 2022, when I received a phone call saying I was being laid off. And the only thing that really broke my heart that day was that I had all of these, I call them kids, and no, they're not kids, but when you've been doing it for almost 40 years, almost everybody's a kid to you. So I had these bright, hungry, ready to learn people that I was so privileged to work with that I wasn't going to be able to pass on my knowledge. And I have always felt, from my very first day on the job in 1985 in a credit bureau, that my job was going to be to train my replacement. And I've tried to live that throughout my entire career. So without a job and an opportunity to do that, what do I do? So November 1st, I got the call. November 8th, Sue Knows the Score was born. And I've been really breathing that to life throughout this entire year. And a lot of that, Brian's come from your encouragement and your support. So, virtually meeting and talking through some of the things, participating in your FinTalk newsletter. It has helped me get my message out. It helped me launch my website. We have a podcast coming after the first of the year, just when this stuff is going to start. So I had to rethink, what is Sue Buswell going to be in the next phase of her career? And it's been Sue Knows the Score, and I've just been very blessed. So I couldn't shove all that in my book, or I take away from the tips, because it's really selfish. It's my story, but it's how and why I'm doing the things I'm doing.
Sue, I want to ask you a totally random question that indulges me in what I teach all the time. A lot of the mortgage people that I work with, that let's say they're not the millennial, right? They weren't born with a phone in their hand. That you only operated through face-to-face, belly to belly interaction.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been able to reinvent yourself at this stage in your career, when a lot of people are like, I don't get it. This isn't my thing. I'm not a technology person. I wasn't born with an iPhone. Like, what has been that success for you? Because so many like you, I just watch them making excuses for why they can't do things, instead of pushing through with what they can.
Well, I think you know this better than anyone. You can make excuses or you can make progress, right? So
So,
one of my favorite sayings, and something that when I was a sales manager and was working with my teams, I would always tell them that your only competition is in your mirror. And that's it. That's your only competition.
So good.
Every day that you are fighting against something, you're simply fighting against yourself. So I just did it. I mean, I don't think you have a choice. For the majority of my life, I was the breadwinner of my marriage. My husband, very talented landscape designer. Those guys don't make a ton of money, right?
Yeah.
So we just made that decision early on that we were comfortable with that. And I love to challenge, and travel and meet people. So you just have to do it. I was on LinkedIn. I was actually teaching some of those hungry folks that I was talking about how to use LinkedIn when I was with my former employer.
Wow.
I still talk to some of them today, trying to help people find your voice. So first of all, get out of your own way. Look in the mirror. You are the only competition. And the first couple of times you do a video and you see yourself and you go, you'll get over it. Trust me, I do it every day. Every time I do a video, I'm like, I keep doing it, because you're your worst critic. You are your worst
100%.
critic. If you get out of your own way, do it. And if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And if you're not changing, then you just don't need to be in this market. Find something else to do.
Whoa. Brian,
Whoa.
I would say that Sue dropped at least 2 bombs that will make for really great reels.
Oh my God. Yeah. I can't wait.
So good. You might have so far dropped the most bombs in the least amount of time. So,
you give me 8 minutes, I'm going to try and use them well, right? I mean, I've learned that from having to mentor people, right? You have an hour one-on-one, you get like 10 minutes to make an impact. The rest of it's just kind of talking. So
good.
Well, I think, Sue, I'm watching what you're doing. Obviously, I've got probably a closer seat than a lot of people, because you and I have collaborated on some pretty cool stuff. But you're one of the few people that are out there really narrowly focused on credit and helping loan officers become. No one's going to become an expert, but they're becoming closer to expert on this topic. And I'm just so proud to know you and be able to partner with you on this mission, because I think what you're doing, what we're doing collectively, is so important for the loan officers that we serve, but mostly it's important for the consumers that our readers and our listeners are serving. So I thank you for all that you're doing. # Sue Knows the Score. If you're
Thank
not
you, Sue.
following Sue, you need to do it.
I appreciate it, guys. This has been fun, and I can't wait to see all of the videos in January.
They're coming hot and heavy, fast and furious. Thanks again, everybody. Come back tomorrow for the next 30 and 30. Peace.